Master of Ceremonies, I would like to welcome you to our annual VA Memorial Day program. We're here today to remember and honor all of our nation's veterans. Could you please stand for the presentation of the color, national anthem, Pledge of Allegiance, and American Creed. I will ask you this time for the national anthem, Ms. Kenya.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
At this time, I'd like to call on Ms. Harriet Claxton to come and lead us in the American Creed and the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed, a democracy in a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and inseparable, established upon those principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity for which American patriots sacrificed their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, to respect its Constitution, to obey its laws, to respect its flag, and to defend it against all enemies. Will you join me in pledging allegiance to the flag of the United States of America? Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I invite you to join me in our invocational prayer. Most holy and divine, universal and complete, Jehovah Jireh, we humbly ask your blessings upon all the veterans, both living and deceased, whom we remember on this special occasion where Veterans Day turns 100. We give thanks for veterans' untiring devotion to duty as they diligently serve our country. Let us never forget their patriotism, courage, fortitude, and tenacity as they fought to keep us safe here in America and abroad. Please enable us to focus on their positive ideas of bravery as a foundation for our willingness to support the cause of justice and freedom in America. Grant us thy peace. In thy holy name we pray. Amen.
At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our interim director here, Dr. Brent Thielen. Leading this facility as an interim director or as a director is a very challenging position, and the day in and day out operations along with his management team is very difficult. I thank the Veterans Affairs, Veterans people, whoever chose our director to come. He has served as a national director of the QUCD division. where he was responsible for leading and planning programmatic effects, as well as operations and oversight in the implementation of a national integrated business quality management system within the VA. That in itself says he's well qualified to come here, but there's others. He most recently was the acting deputy network director in Vision 7. Previously, Dr. Thielen served as director, Northern Indiana Healthcare System, and associate director of the Detroit VA Medical Center, chief facilities management services at the Phoenix VA Health Care System, and chief. He also served at the Saginaw VA-MC, Michigan, Veterans Medical Care. Dr. Thielen has an extensive amount of compliance, auditing experience in a number of compliance standards in both clinical and administrative processes. I may take his as my second person to choose because he is certified Sigma Master Black Belt, lead auditor and business owner that focuses on standard compliance, customer satisfaction, and consultation. He worked extensively with agencies to improve care for veterans. He is an active member of the American College of Health Care. He holds an associate and bachelor's degree in engineering, a master's degree in administration, and PhD in engineering. He is also a proud veteran of the United States Air Force, father, and yes, grandfather. Dr. Thielen?
If you're in the market for affordable transportation, come on in to Dublin Auto Sales. Getting to work, school, or around town every day requires dependable transportation. And that's what you'll find at Dublin Auto Sales. Offering in-house financing too, so credit is never an issue. See Wayne Kemp or any of his friendly staff, Bill Topping, Alan Fields, TJ DeRochi, or Freddie Cook. Look for Dublin Auto Sales at 1705 Telfair Street and 406 North Jefferson, and also at 511 North Jefferson, where you'll find a great deal. Dublin Auto Sales, affordable transportation you can count on.
With Georgia Farm Bureau Insurance, I can get auto, home, life, even banking all in one place. Pretty convenient if you ask me.
Always the home team, Georgia Farm Bureau Insurance. Visit us online at gfbinsurance.com.
Wow. Well, thank you, veterans. Thank you. Appreciate the words. Appreciate the words that were just spoken. We're here for, this is the reason why we're here. This is the reason why we're here. That's the reason why I'm here. As you heard my background, I actually had my own business, and I left my business to help the veterans. I actually started my business with the veterans, helping them. As a Desert Shield, Desert Storm veteran, when I left, I don't know how many Desert Shield, Desert Storm veterans we have out there? Y'all remember the transition process? If you left around that time, there wasn't one. So we left. We didn't have much to go on. We didn't have any knowledge. At least I wrote a resume before. So a lot of things have changed, but we're here for you. We're here. That's what the purpose is. We're here at the VA here, is to help you guys in the best manner that we can. Again, thank you, Mr. Payne, for your kind remarks. And good morning again, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests, and most importantly, like I said, all of you veterans here in attendance today. This day is about you. I'd like to welcome everyone, because this is a celebration, by the way. It seems like kind of a little bit down, but this is a celebration. We're celebrating the veterans, present and past, the successes that they had. The reason why we're here today is because of the veteran. The freedoms that we have came from y'all. It was 90% of the room with veterans, or families of veterans, and if you're a family member, you're a veteran. Because you guys went through it just like we did. So I appreciate and respect each and every one of you, and as I said, you are the reason that we have the freedoms that we have today. And we remember you, the heroes that are past, those men and women who fought for our freedom, and through their service and sacrifice, guaranteeing our liberty and way of life. As an Air Force veteran, we say weird things, words that are abnormally not used in, vehicle. I mean, who uses vehicle outside of a veteran? Who uses the word mic? When you're explaining distance, and who uses, just all kinds of weird words that we don't use, or uses Roger that in a regular sentence. It's just something that's not known. And then for all of you veterans, no matter what service branch that you're in, we all use sir and ma'am. And for many people, that's kind of weird. But for all of us that are veterans, because there is that bond that was mentioned, that bond, that brotherhood, we all know what it means. We can relate to that. because we all served as one. For over 243 years of independence, our patriots stood watch over America. From Bunker Hill to Baghdad, their vigilance and determination to uphold the beliefs on which our nation was founded have made us the beneficiaries of their bravery and their sacrifices. America has been blessed as no other country in the world. Do you believe that? I do. Let me look around the other countries. Do they have the freedoms that we do? We've been blessed. The sacrifices of our armed forces have provided an environment of security and freedom in which our nation has grown and flourished in business, law, human rights, economics, science and technology, and the arts. America has long been a beacon of hope and freedom to others around the world, drawing millions to our shores and serving as a model of democracy. Every Veteran Day is special, but this year's commemoration is particularly meaningful, and you've heard him talk about it a number of times now, because exactly 100 years ago today, the guns of the Great War fell silent across Europe, and the doughboys started coming home. It was the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918 that World War I, the war to end all wars, ended. Armistice Day. He signed a peace agreement in France. In the aftermath of that horrific war, a war that was first fully mechanized, incorporating machine guns, barbed wire, tanks, airplanes, and chemical weapons, gave rise to better care for veterans who had suffered in the war. Because in 1921, Congress combined all World War I veterans programs into one to create the Veterans Bureau. The Public Health Service Veterans Hospitals were transferred to this new bureau, and an ambitious hospital construction program for World War I veterans commenced. Built a lot of things during that time frame. In 1924, the veterans' benefits were broadened to cover disabilities not service-related. In 1928, the admission to national homes was extended to women, National Guard, and militia veterans. And in 1930, the Veterans Bureau was elevated to the Veterans Administration, the forerunner of the Department of Veterans Affairs as we know it today, meant to consolidate and coordinate government activities affecting war veterans. The timing of the programs were pretty fortuitous, if you think about it, because the guns did not stay silent long after the First World War. The long shadow of Nazism and fascism soon fell across much of the world, and 16 million Americans, men and women, stepped forward to fight this tyranny in World War II, the most epic of American conflicts. They answered our country's call and led us to victory and world leadership. That's just a part of the story of our American veterans, ordinary men and women who stepped forward to purchase our independence with their service and to help others who felt the oppression of tyranny. Yes, we have long persevered. On the wind-swept beaches of Normandy, we persevered. On the frozen grounds of Korea, we persevered. In the sweltering jungles of Vietnam, we persevered. In the sandy deserts and high frozen mountains of Iraq and Afghanistan, we persevered. And during all the years of restless peace between conflicts, yes, we persevered. Today, we remember them all. We also remember the men and women who today stand guard and keep peace across the nation and in faraway places around the world. There's a number of us here today. Thank you all for that. Places we can't even spell or pronounce. Having a cold bag and a hot bag ready to go at a moment's notice, not knowing at times where we're going to go. Just jump on a plane, see you later, not calling our loved ones and out. I know that's the way I was. Maybe some of you can empathize with me on that. They are our veterans of today and tomorrow. You know, Veterans Day. Veterans Day. It's odd that after just what I just talked about, that after all these years of our military men and women having fought and died and continue to fight for our freedoms, that it would be only one day of the year. Sure, the government did well to recognize this one day, but what if it wasn't a dedicated day? What if it wasn't? How would our heroes be recognized and prioritized? I often think that American people think our servicemen and women as being a traditional 9-to-5 job, perhaps forgetting about our military, both past and active military. But we sit here today because of their sacrifices, leaving friends and family to willingly go defend our nations. We have free speech. We can vote. We choose where, when, and what we want to worship because of the veteran. Yes, we are endowed by our Creator to certain inalienable rights, that among those life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But where would we be without the sacrifices of our veterans, both past and present? I know most of you here today have friends or loved ones serving, so thank you, and or have served in the military already. But I would ask you today, I would plead with you today that as you leave here today, perhaps through the television means or however, word of mouth, whatever it may be, that not just saying thank you to a veteran for their service, but helping them, guiding them or directing them to the services that are available, city, state, and locally, federally here, to our veterans, the VA, to the government, wherever it may be, helping those folks find the care that they need and the help that they need. I don't care where. I don't care if it's here or somewhere else. I just want us to try to help and get that word out to those veterans that are out there. I know it here at the Carl Vinson VA Medical Center. I know we have a lot of people that care and are great at what we do, and we want to help our heroes. This commemoration is always special for those of us at the Department of Veterans Affairs, especially for me as a veteran who receives my care in the VA. We are dedicated to serving the needs of the 20 million men and women living today who have served in this nation's armed forces. We strive to see every day as Veterans Day here at the Carl Vinson VA Medical Center. We trace our department's lineage to President Abraham's Lincoln devotion to veterans of the Civil War and his steadfast belief that their service must be justly recognized by a grateful nation, that we have a commitment to those who have borne the battle. More than 150 years after the end of the Civil War, President Trump and Secretary Wilkie are helping fulfill that commitment to our veterans. With the support of the President and Congress, we at the VA help the nation repay its debt to those who have fulfilled citizenship highest duty. A grateful nation expects nothing less from us. At hundreds of VA facilities across the country, hospitals, outpatient clinics, vet centers, telehealth sites, benefits office, and national cemeteries, we work with compassion and with respect, putting veterans as well as you and your families first. It is our duty to remember the sacrifices of all veterans and to make certain that our commitments to them and their family are honored. We are working on Secretary Wilkie's priority for VA in order to best serve veterans of all generations. In the area of customer service, when a veteran comes into the VA, it should not be up to the veteran to find ways to get the answer yes. It is up to us to get the veterans the yes answer that they're looking for. In the area of implementation of the Mission Act, a landmark achievement of Congress that will fundamentally transform VA healthcare by consolidating all of VA's community care efforts into a single program that is much easier for veterans, their families, and VA employees and community providers to navigate, as well as expand VA's family caregiver program. In the area of replacing our aging electronic health records, moving to the same system as used by the Department of Defense, modernizing our appointment schedules, automating our disability claims and payment systems, and connecting VA to the DoD systems, private healthcare systems, and private pharmacies. And lastly, transforming our business systems to allow more leeway to manage budgets and recruit, retrain, retain, relocate staff to our best that we can for our veterans, while also creating robust partnerships with state and local communities to address veterans' homelessness and suicide preventions. All underlying all of these priorities is our steadfast commitment to uphold in all we do VA's 5 core values, which are integrity, commitment, advocacy, respect, and excellence, or the I-CARE program, as you've heard. As we transform VA, we will continually challenge ourselves to work smarter and more efficiently. At the end of each day, our true measure of success will be the timeliness, the quality, and consistency of the services and support we provide. We will be measured by our accomplishments, not empty promises. Veterans deserve nothing less. And because I believe, as Lincoln affirmed, to care for him who shall have borne the battle and for his widow and orphan, I take this covenant very seriously. To everyone here today, thank you for coming and for being the veterans advocate. To my fellow VA employees, thank you for your service on behalf of our veterans. And to all of those who have faithfully served, my deepest thanks and utmost appreciation. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless America. Thank you all.
Coney Fall Line Technical College. Think differently about college and apply today.
Hi, I'm Anna Grace with Myers Equipment and Supply, your dealer for the complete line of Can-Am side-by-sides and ATV products. For hunting, farming, or riding the trails, Can-Am has the models you need. If you like a little sport to your ride, choose the versatile Can-Am Commander. With the best-in-class power and versatility, this side-by-side features the essentials that change the off-road landscape. Industry-leading performance, precision-engineered handling, and rider-focused design are all on display every time you hit the throttle. Come into Myers Equipment today and see the full line of Can-Am ATVs and side-by-sides. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
It is my pleasure to introduce the keynote speaker, Dr. James W. Strickland. James W. Strickland, PhD, is an Air Force retiree, serving honorably for 22 years. He retired as a Senior Master Sergeant, Education and Training Superintendent. His last military assignment was at Lowry Air Force Base, Colorado. After retiring, he worked for 5 years as Program Director for the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Department in Centennial, Colorado. He left Colorado in 1987 and began working at the Vinson VA Medical Center as a clinical social worker. He started as the lone outpatient social worker in primary care before being transferred to the domiciliary. From the domiciliary, he created the homeless program where he became the first coordinator of the highly successful program. During the first major nationwide VA reorganization, of which he served on the reorganization team, he was appointed as the first business manager of geriatrics and extended care. After this tenure, he was appointed Senior Customer Service Manager and Patient Advocate. From this office, he coordinated the Minority Veterans Program, EEO Program, OEP Program, and several other ancillary programs. He has served on the Board of Commissioners of the Dublin-Lawrence Housing Authority for 22 years and is the current chairman. He served on the board of the Lawrence County Hospice for 10 years. He is a graduate of the American Institute of Holistic Theology, University of Denver, Webster University with a Master's in Human Relations and Communications, a bachelor's degree in psychology from Columbia College, associate degrees from Columbia College and the Community College of the Air Force. He is a licensed clinical social worker for the state of Georgia. He is a writer with 2 published books, Hospice, A Holistic Journey Through the Shadow of Death, and A Charge to Keep. I Have a Promise Kept. Both publications are by Outskirts Press and are available on Amazon.com. He is a public speaker, life coach, trainer, human relations advocate, and is an ordained interfaith and interdenominational minister. He and his wife, Janice, has been married for 57 years. They are parents and grandparents. Please allow me to introduce to you and present to others James W. Strickland, who is a soldier and a veteran's veteran. Please applaud as he prepares to come for you.
Good morning. Good morning. I am no stranger to this stage. I am no stranger to this auditorium. I am no stranger to this VA. This used to be my home. I used to feel I was a piece of the furniture of this VA. My picture was right next door to the VA director. Yes, I served proudly here. I served proudly because of you, our veterans. And I am a veteran myself. I used to do a lot of singing at this VA. I used to do a lot of speaking. I was a lot of everything at this VA. But one song I used to love to sing, and I'll try it again today. My country is of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my father died, land of thy pilgrim tribe, from every mountain side. The reason I serve because of freedom. Let freedom ring. Welcome to today's Veterans Day program, and thank all of you for attending on this important and distinguished occasion. We are here today to honor our veterans and service members and to remember the many sacrifices they have made and the courage it takes to defend, honor, duty, and our country. We are here to honor you heroes, to remember their achievements, their courage, and their dedication, and to say thank you for your sacrifices. Thinking of the heroes who join us in this auditorium and those who are here only in spirit, a person can't help but feel awed by the enormity of what we encounter today. We stand in the midst of true patriots and their families and friends, and those who have nobly served. The veterans and service members we honor today came from all walks of life, but they shared several fundamental qualities. They possessed courage, they possessed pride, determination, selflessness, dedication to duty, and integrity. All of these qualities are needed to serve a cause larger than oneself, and that cause is our freedom. Look around this auditorium today. You will see that freedom isn't free. No, freedom isn't free. Freedom is sacrifice of mind. Look around, sacrifice of mind. Freedom is sacrifice of body. Look around again. And freedom is sacrifice of spirit, of which all of these men and women have made. Speaking of sacrifices, I want to digress to the year 2014, a day when veteran Johnny Payne and Buddy Adams led the charge. Go with me. It was 5:15 a.m. on Friday morning, August 15th, 2014. I was at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall on these grounds, awaiting my turn to read the names of over 50,000 soldiers who lost their lives in Vietnam during that war. At 5:20 a.m., two ladies at the podium rang the bell, indicating it was time for me to read. There were hundreds of empty chairs in the audience. But as I stepped to the podium, the chairs mystically filled with all the soldiers whose names I was about to read. They were all dressed in their combat gear, and they sat quietly at attention. As each name was read, they turned to their fellow comrade and gave a hearty pat on the back. One by one, without hesitation, the names were read from the thick book. Since it was early in the morning, the twilight gleamed in the background, and the American flag flew proudly as it flapped its beautiful colors among the soldiers as if to say, "Welcome home, welcome home." At 6 a.m., I rang the bell for the next reader, and with that bell as a signal likened to a command, all my fellow soldiers stood at attention, gave a simultaneous salute. And as they gave that salute, their spirits returned to the wall. For 4 days, the Carl Vinson VA Medical Center became a sacred place and welcomed them home with open arms and open hearts. Today, I feel blessed to be among my fellow veterans and their friends and families to say what Veterans Day means to me. 57 years ago in a small Alabama town, a mother and father signed the papers for their 17-year-old son to join the United States Air Force. 56 years ago today, that 18-year-old airman went to work on the cold, cold grounds of Schilling Air Force Base to support the pilots who were preparing to stop the Russian ships from bombarding Cuba, to land in Cuba, because those ships were sent by the Russians with ammunition on them. Those ships were sent for the Russians and the Cubans to point their guns toward these United States of America. 46 years ago today, this sergeant went to Utapao, Thailand, in Southeast Asia during the Vietnam War in support of the B-52 bombers, who took off in groups of threes to fight that war. The Air Force sergeant's brother served 2 combat tours in Vietnam as an Army sergeant major. Today, I say to you, I gave some of my life defending this country. My brother, Sergeant First Class Cornell Strickland, gave it all. Veterans Day means honoring the men and women who solemnly swore to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I swore to do this over 5 different occasions, at times sacrificing the stability of my wife and children. Yet, I did it for our freedom. And I swear today, if I had to do it again, I would do it again. Veterans Day means thanking all men and women who served honorably in the military during the past 100 years. As we look back, we see that many women served in World War I. Many women were drafted to serve in World War I. They worked on the support teams. 35,000 women officially served as nurses and support staff, establishing a rich legacy to our servicemen and women. Veterans Day to me means educating our younger generation about the sacrifices made by the veterans in this auditorium and those to come, and demanding they always show respect for the flag and the men and women who serve. Veterans Day means seeing old friends like Ulysses L. Britton, a soldier in the audience. I remember the days when this Carl Vinson VA tried to discharge Ulysses, yet he needed help. He needed help because he was battling something that happened in the war. He came to my office. I defended his actions. He is here today. Veterans Day means meeting old friends like Gus L. Britton. You all know Gus. He floats around here in a blue coat. He's been a volunteer for years. But I remember the day Gus came to my office and said he was a Vietnam veteran and he wanted to give something back to the VA. He asked me what could he do, and I said, Gus, you can be a volunteer. And Gus has been doing that all these years. Veterans Day means seeing Charlene James and Greg Schwartz, who takes our veterans on these trips to compete in the games. Veterans Day means seeing Michelle Plummer, a lady who should be Miss Carl Vinson, because she dresses for every occasion for this VA. Veterans Day means seeing Joseph Wright, who was in the 1st Cav. Veterans Day means seeing Dr. Lester Porter. And if you want to know how the Army was, you want to know how a man actually fought in the war, you spend a little time talking to that man right there, Amen. Dr. Porter. Veterans Day means seeing J. Roy Rowland. Boy, the many congressionals I had to answer and tend to his office. Dr. Rowland, we salute you too. I want to say thank you in conclusion. Your presence here today and that of people gathering all across America is a tribute to the troops and their families who serve proudly. From the soldiers who shivered and starved the winter at Valley Forge, to the doughboys crouched in the muddy waters of France, to the frostbitten men and women of Korea, to the platoons who patrol the hazy jungles of that terrible Vietnam, to our Desert Storm veterans and Iraqi troops, to the young men and women still serving in the mountains of Afghanistan. We remember and honor you. I ask at this time to do something different than everyone else has done. I ask all veterans and service people to stay seated. Please stay seated. I ask every civilian, if you are able to stand, please stand. As you stand, place your right hand over your heart. Look at a veteran at this time and say, thank you. Say it loud, say thank you. You may be seated. And I say, like everyone says, God bless America. And I pray that this nation will continue to be blessed under God, indivisible. Listen to that word, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Not for me, not for you. Liberty and justice for all. Thank you.